Hey, I'm Lawrence, I'm a service designer, and today I'm going to show you how we use journey mapping to improve our services. I'm going to show you how I do journey mapping and how I use it to identify where to improve a service. Journey mapping is often the first tool that we use to understand a service from the user's perspective. Journey mapping is the simplest way to get everybody in the team on the same page and to get all of the information out of their head into one place. It should give your team the information that it needs to be able to make decisions about how to improve their service. The process of mapping journeys can also highlight where your service is quite complicated. If your team can't agree what the steps are, then how is a user supposed to know? Not everything is a straightforward journey, but it can help to simplify things if you look at it from this perspective. You should consider journey mapping when you have a process that you know needs improving. It's also going to be helpful if you've already defined some goals you want to achieve. So we've teamed up with Mosaik Education, who provide programs to teachers that support refugees reach university. Their goal at the moment is to run more of their programs reaching more refugees. But to do that, they need to make it easier for teachers and facilitators to run the programs without Mosaik's support. This gives Mosaik more time to do what they do best, which is designing and developing ways to support refugees reach university. It's good to include all the users involved, but when you're starting out, think of the journey from a single user's perspective. It's okay to have multiple maps of different user journeys. In our example, our user is a refugee who wants to go to university, so their goal is reaching university. Agree the start and end points of your journey. So perhaps our journey ends when a student reaches university. Try to list every step the user takes in order to achieve their goal. You might want to include steps other people do to allow them to achieve their goal as well. It's going to be helpful for when you're discussing where to improve if you group the steps. Now you have an idea of the steps the users take, you can start adding a little bit of detail. Think about what you need to know to be able to make decisions about your service. So you might want to list tools, people involved, or pain points and opportunities. So what do people struggle with in the journey? In Mosaik's case, we really want to understand how much time we spend supporting students and teachers. So that's something we're going to put onto the map. If you already know or have assumptions around what the users need, get that onto the map too. But be really clear when it's an assumption, because you'll need to come back to check those assumptions and make sure they're accurate. In Mosaik's student journey, students have to take a test early on. By including the needs on our map, we can see that students don't need to take the test. They need course material that's relevant to their level and to their needs. The test currently allows us to measure their level and do that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's how it should be. There might be gaps in our knowledge and areas of the map that look quite blank, and that's okay, because those are going to inform our research questions when we come to speak to our users, and we try to understand what's going on at that stage. In Mosaik, we don't know enough about how people are finding our courses in the first place, so we really want to dig into that a little bit more. Now you have a map, you might want to start discussing areas that you want to improve. This is where it's important to have that defined goal. So you might want to improve a small group of steps and have a big impact on that part of the journey, or you might want to make small improvements throughout. There's no art to this, it's about discussing and deciding with your team, and the journey map just helps facilitate that conversation. For Mosaik, we decided to improve the onboarding journey because that takes a lot of our time. So by improving that, we should be able to achieve our goal. You might also create a future journey map that's simpler and removes a lot of the problems that you've identified. A future journey map might give the team an understanding of where you're going and how you're going to try and improve the service. But none of these maps are set in stone. You can also check your assumptions with users. You might have some specific questions now, or you might walk them through this map. Another thing you can do is ask them to map their journey with you, and you can see how that aligns to the map. So, good luck with your journey mapping.